Is this normal? Great, we're doing great. Is this normal? Brought to you by the Center for Positive Sexuality and Exquisite Restraint Corsets and the letter Q. I just decided that. And this evening, we have a couple of guests from some local universities in Los Angeles to talk about the most recent LGBT-related suicides and the media around that and sort of reactions to all of that and everything. So I want to welcome Anna from Cal Lutheran University and Karlee was last time.
Kylie was last time.
Karlee from California State University, Northridge. Thank you. Thank you both for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I still can't see the chat on mine, so I'm going to try to redo my thing. So I want to talk to you two about the recent suicides, and not just your feelings about it, but your feelings about the sort of the reaction to it, because it's not like this is the first time this has happened. So what do you think may have been different about these circumstances that sort of brought this big?
Would you like to go first?
Go first.
Okay. I think, well, what's strange is that it's actually not strange. It was so publicized because there were so many at such close intervals. Mm-hmm. It was like every single day, not every single day, but very close to it.
It felt like it, yeah.
Yeah, it did. And the children, like, they were children, and they were very young. They were like 13, I think, is the youngest. And I think we went from 13 to about 19, but that's still very young.
Yeah.
And there were so many of them in the course of a month. And I think that's why people reacted to it so strongly, as opposed to other times when it's just one and maybe they're in their 20s, which is still very young. But
yeah.
I would agree with what she said. I think that the whole It Gets Better was a cool idea, but I think it's kind of late, because I think there's been a lot of suicides that have gone unnoticed.
Yeah.
And just because there were so many, it was media coverage. Yeah.
Yeah, because I had one professor say, that there have been related deaths that they might not have been deemed suicides or written up as suicides, either because the family didn't want it written that way or because they weren't sure. Somebody drives their car into the embankment off the freeway with no other obvious provocation. One can probably infer that it was likely a suicide attempt that worked or didn't work, depending on the end results. So this is something that's clearly been going on for a really long time. So you both, how do you each identify, first of all?
I'm gay.
Okay.
I'm a heterosexual genderqueer ally.
Okay. And at each of your universities, is there some kind of system in place to help people who are out, who are coming out?
Yeah, we have a GSA, and it's a pretty big group, like 20, 30 people. And we also have safe zone training, which is students can now do it too, but faculty members do it, and it's like this training they go through to help people cope with coming out or their lifestyle choice, that type of thing.
We have an LGBT Alliance at CSUN. It's a fairly large club, and we only meet once a week though, so there are a lot of people that can't come to our meetings. We also have a LGBT counseling group that gets together, and we have an Ally Safe Spaces training, which trains faculty and students on how to be an ally and how to help people come out and how to kind of let them know that you're still going to be there. And we also have a queer studies minor at CSUN, so yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's fairly new.
Yes, I think it's only 2 or 3 years old.
Okay.
You know what I always wonder, when we get to college, a lot of times people are from some other place, are you from California?
I'm from Kentucky.
You're from Kentucky,
Oh,
and are you
wow.
from California?
Yes.
Okay, so I think what I'd want to find out is some of the differences growing up, because that's a big deal. I mean, we know that every state is almost like its own country here in America. That's just what we do in America. So I think what I want to ask you, as a teenager, what was the climate like for you personally in Kentucky?
Well, I didn't come out until I was 21. I'm 23 now. So
Okay.
I was in the closet because it was very, conservative type. I mean, it's Kentucky. There's
Yeah.
still, like, racism. I mean, I guess that's everywhere, too. But, it's still very black and white there. But there was no GSA in my high school. When I got to college, it was more when I started to more become myself and be like, okay, this is all right. But, yeah, it's very hard.
Yeah, and I can understand a lot of that. I grew up mostly here now, but a lot in Louisiana. All my high school was in Louisiana, and I have a lot more in common with you. I'm more of an ally, and I would consider myself heterosexual, except probably more genderqueer. And but yeah, I mean, and of course, there's probably a 20-year difference here between my high school and yours, but you didn't even really know what gay was. I mean, it's a crazy concept to me now, but you just didn't really deal with it. Even though you knew there's the one gay guy, like in school, like everybody knew he was, but you just didn't talk about it. Yeah, that's rough to think that that's still going on so recently in different states, So for you in California, how was your high school?
My high school was, I guess, fairly typical as high schools go.
Yeah, but did you have a?
We had a GSA.
You had a GSA.
and
That's major.
We
yeah.
did, which is great, which is very good. I'm from the valley, so not too far away. Of course, I've noticed with GSAs, with high school GSAs, it's usually all girls and then the one gay guy. So I noticed that a lot of gay men or bisexual men don't come out until high school, or trans men even. There's like no trans people in high school usually. That's also a lot of their parents.
They're not there, but
that
they don't get to express themselves that way.
Either
yeah.
they don't know that they're trans yet, or they're not transitioning yet.
Right.
So yeah, it's usually people I find accept it more with girls to be like in a GSA or something.
So yeah, that's something with the rash of suicides, and the reason we're here tonight. Were there any girls that committed suicide?
Been one or two.
One or two.
Yeah, but mostly it was men. And I think it also has a lot to say about society as a whole, and how, as much as we'd like to think that living an alternative lifestyle is okay, it's not. Like, society is not okay with it.
Yeah.
And I think especially for gay men, it's very hard. Like, it's cool to most guys to be, have girls make out. But to see two guys kiss to most people is just so taboo that, like, it's hard for them to live an out lifestyle, and that's, why a lot of gay men.
Yeah, I agree. I think that a lot of the problem here is that we end up with, I think young boys and men have much more strict guidelines that they're supposed to adhere to. They have to be manly men, they have to be masculine, they have to be overtly heterosexual in order to be accepted. And whether they're heterosexual but submissive, or homosexual, or bisexual, or trans, none of that is acceptable. And I think it is a lot harder for guys.
Girls can get away with being tomboys. Girls you can wear guys' clothes. You can shop in the guys' department, and that's okay.
Yeah, but
as a teenager.
If a guy were to do that, it's like, what's wrong with them?
It takes a lot. I mean, I do see a lot. Especially in the past 10 years, a lot of kids who are looking like Jeffree Star was this kid here from Orange County. The boys that are more flamboyant, and they're going to have a purse and lipstick, and they're getting all tatted up. But they have a community. I mean, they have their posse of friends, and I don't think they're able to get away with it in Arkansas and Kentucky. Yeah, it's that's why I always want to know about the states. With all these suicides, I was like, listening.
What state?
What state was this in? Yeah.